Yo, what's up? It's Lit Book Reviews here to do yet another. This is the this is the podcast, worldwide, Mr. Worldwide show all over in all the nations where we discuss all things books. We're here today. You guys know us so well. I am Lee Harvey Oswald. With me, as always, is John Wilkes Booth. Johnny Boy actually committed the crime. I'm just a patsy, but whatever. We're ready to do another one. How you doing today?
Dude, I lost you and came in on how you doing today. But
well, you could have just answered the question then, but here we are.
Doing good, dude, in my Bridge 4 hoodie.
Yep, I got my Bridge 4 hoodie on as well. Let's go. And in light of that, today we are going to be tier listing all of the Stormlight Archive characters. All of the, well, not all of them. About 30. All the mains and then some of the mids and minors, I guess, from the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. We're going to tier list all those characters today. Now, we're kind of just basing this on feeling, so might end up being a heavy S tier for me because I love a lot of these characters, but I'm going to do my best to, S tier is like the best characters. Like, we can only reserve that for a few. I feel like A tier is like great. B is good, C is and D we're not big fans of. So
No, I renamed D.
Oh, what is it?
Just have to wait and see, man.
Oh God. Okay, well, let's get into it, man. Let's tier up these characters. Let's tear them up.
Let's tier. Everybody, yay. Tier. Let's get tearing.
Tier it up.
Oh
my God, dude.
Had to make a special category.
So from S to Lirin being as low as it gets in the Stormlight Archive. So I guess we'll start there. Neither one of us like Lirin at all. Hate this character. He sucks. He's worse than Moash.
Well, Moash is like a good character. Like, Lirin is a pointless character to me. Like, Brandon Sanderson could eliminate Lirin for me, and I would still, like, if it was just his mom, I think I'd get the exact same.
Yeah, I mean, I get, like, I don't care for
or
him.
If, like,
I could completely do without it.
After book one, if he would have died after, like, maybe a little bit in book one.
Yeah, it would have been great if he had died.
Yeah, he somehow died. And then it's like, okay, I'm good. Like, he did his little purpose, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I would have been fine with just one more thing for Kaladin to be depressed about. So,
unfortunately,
he is still with us. Oh, I mean, guess we should have said at the beginning, definitely full spoilers ahead for all things Stormlight. I guess that would be assumed, just in case. Yeah. Full spoilers ahead. So that's Lirin. He sucks. So Lirin is as low as you can go on this tier list. What do we got up next? Is that young Kaladin?
I say we just go Kaladin. I mean, right? Is that fair? You don't think Kaladin's S, dude? I feel like Kaladin's the epitome of the Stormlight Archive. Like, Kaladin's not my favorite character, but honestly, I feel like Kaladin is Stormlight.
I agree. He is. I mean, he is Storm blessed. I agree he is the guy of this series. And I'm okay with him being S, I'll be honest, but I wouldn't be not okay with him being, like, I wouldn't be upset about him being top A only because things are getting a little repetitive for me with Kaladin in some ways. Now, I end up loving it every time, and the payoff is worth it. But, if you want to start him at S, like, I feel like he's going to end up being low S for me, but, we can go ahead and put him there. We can go ahead and just set the spectrum for the future of this here tier list. But, I mean, see, this next one for me, I mean, that's Kaladin. Adolin's definitely an S tier. And I think he belongs above Kaladin.
See, this isn't to me about who's my favorite character. That's my thing.
Neither.
Because I like Adolin more than I like Kaladin, but I think Kaladin's a more important character.
Well, I'm not doing it based on importance. I'm just doing it on
I'm factoring in
the feel
multiple
of the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, importance
I just don't think Adolin's like a special character, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't... Not that I'm saying Kaladin's super special, but you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know,
Adolin's not like an original character to me. There's always going to be the guy who just is pure of heart and, like, is the good-looking guy who's defying the odds.
Kaladin's the guy that's, like, pure. I mean, Adolin murdered a dude in cold blood. Kaladin would not have killed Sadeas in that instance. So I think there is a little more to Adolin, but I also think, like, aside from him just being the whole good guy arc, I do think as far as importance, dude, come book 5, I mean, he's doing something that's never been done before. And he's revealing things that nobody ever knew to this point with his arc with Maya. So, I mean, Kaladin, I definitely agree, is the guy. But I would be. I mean, I'm cool with both.
I just feel like I've read 7 other characters that are like Adolin in other series. Is what I'm saying. Kaladin feels more original of a character to me than Adolin does.
I mean, I've not read as much fantasy as you, so I can't speak to that. But I'm going off the feel, and I mean, Adolin's my guy over Kaladin, like in this one. Importance, I would probably agree with you, but I do think Adolin has a lot of importance. Don't know if it'll last past book 5, but we'll see.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Adolin could die, and I just feel like it would suck. I don't want to see again. I like Adolin as a character more. I just don't. I mean, if you don't have
you want.
I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about, well, I guess that's not. I don't know. It just depends, like you said. Because if Adolin's not in the Stormlight Archive, it's still good.
I mean,
but you can't even have a Stormlight Archive without Kaladin.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, but if we're tier listing them based on that, then it's just going to be an order of, like, main characters to most minor characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Shallan.
the thing that... Okay. Oh, this one's going to be fun. Shallan.
I mean, she's no higher than C for me.
I'm fine with C. It's getting ridiculous.
You think she's Lirin?
No, I don't think she's Lirin.
Like, I know there's things about Kaladin that are repetitive. Shallan is the definition of repetitive to me.
Yeah, I won't argue with you on that.
I don't think she's had a singular, like, arc that's been original other than... And again, I assume Kaladin... Kaladin's just more likable, so it's more tolerable. Having to deal with Shallan's, like, bipolar, multi-personality disorder just continually
it gets
the worst.
It gets frustrating. Like, I was fine with it at first, and I really liked her story, and I mean, I was still annoyed to a degree in certain parts, but I liked her story more in, like, Way of Kings and Words of Radiance. At this point, it's like the reveal in Rhythm of War is really cool, but it's also like, why couldn't we have known this sooner? Like, why could you not have figured this out sooner?
Shallan is like, she honestly has some of the best moments in the whole series, and yet she's still a C character for me.
Yeah,
that's what's insane.
I would agree with that
like,
take.
Especially like whenever it's revealed that she has a shard blade. I mean, that was like one of the most shocking moments of this entire series for me.
Yeah, that was an awesome.
So I mean that and then figuring out like how she's killed her dad, mom, basically everyone who's ever come into her life, and like a Spren. I mean, all of those were like, wow, okay, cool reveals, but then it's still like, I don't know, dude. I can't get on board with some of those arcs that are being repeated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with her being there. Taravangian, dude.
He's the best character on this list to me so far. The most original. I don't know what your thoughts are, but so far, like, of these characters, he would be my number one, like, S tier character.
I mean, basing it off originality, yeah, at this point, I would definitely agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with him being there. It's like I'm saying, though, dude, I feel like there's going to be so many people on
this whole time is what I can feel. I can feel like this is going to be just Adolin at the top.
I mean, you're going to have to cut that out, but I mean, Jesus. I mean, it just depends on how we're ranking these because, I mean, you know.
Adolin's a great character. I just don't understand how you're tiering this.
You literally said when we started this, you're going to do it off feel.
I know, but off feel, Adolin, I like Kaladin more than Adolin. I'm just saying, like, I can still at least explain, like, how, just in my world, like, I just would never be able to put Adolin over Kaladin in, like, a tiered of a character for Stormlight Archive, is what I'm saying. So, I feel like you want to put Adolin above Taravangian, and I just want to know, like, what your...
No, I mean, I didn't say that, and I don't think that. I would agree with where Taravangian is. Like, the originality of it, like how good his arc is, like the whole like thing with him, his different days. I would definitely agree. Like his parts, like it was a lot of interludes at first. His parts were like some of the most interesting in the entire series when he came up. But when I'm factoring in, like when I'm doing a tier list, I mean, Adolin is one of the strongest characters to me because he's through and through like a really good guy, and he's a good guy who you expect to be a douchebag when you first meet him, and then he turns out to be like through and through like he has good character.
I just hate to
and
say
I
it,
really
but that's
like
like every
he's
main
a
character
normal
ever.
man, but it's not because he's a normal man amongst essentially gods at
Tano,
this
like I
point in the
literally can
story.
name like basically in every.
Okay, yeah, dude.
almost in
As
every
I
series
said,
that
I
I've
haven't
ever
read as much fantasy as you have. This is the only series that I've read fully through,
guess.
so I don't know what you want from me on that one. But I mean,
guess.
I agree with you about Taravangian. So,
All right, lift.
man, I'm not a lift lover myself.
Lift is so pointless to me. I understand she's going to be hugely somehow important, but I'd honestly rather that arc just never occur. But that's just me. Like honestly,
I mean, yeah, I think she's better than Lirin, but she's not better than Shallan. In my opinion.
definitely not. I'm gonna leave her there for now. All right, what are you thinking about Moash?
This one's tough, dude. I feel like he's A or B. Honestly, he's not S.
No, he's not S.
I mean, I don't know if he's fleshed out. Well, he's fleshed out. We know his backstory.
I agree. He's either top B or like mid A. Mid A is probably where I'd like max him out at.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with mid A for now.
keep
We can
him there for
reevaluate as we go. Yeah.
All right, what are you thinking about Maya?
I mean, she has like a really good, like solid moment. I don't know if we have enough yet to put her like super high though. I mean, what do you think?
No, yeah, I'm thinking mid to low B for me, honestly.
Yeah, and that's just, I mean, that could definitely change in book 5, but we don't. Her moment is great. Like in Rhythm of War, that moment is also spectacular.
Adolin, like I almost attribute
sure.
more of that moment to Adolin than to her for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, you have to because Adolin's the one that's put in the work for her to get to that point, or at least that's my interpretation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Leshwi. This is one of the coolest characters too.
Yeah. She's A for me.
I just don't know enough about her though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you put her above Moash?
No, I probably
cooler
would.
than
Not
Moash,
just yet.
but-
Yeah, she is cooler for sure, but Moash is just like you said, you hate him, but he's so well written that it's not a character like Lirin where you don't want more of him.
No, he's
like
so
you love
important.
getting Moash.
Gosh, yeah.
But you love to hate him.
Yeah. It's always like what's gonna happen whenever he shows up on the page because you know he's just gonna do something you completely disagree with. All right, Eshonai.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
My immediate
love
reaction
Eshonai.
is just above Shallan. Do you have her above or below Shallan?
I don't have her above Shallan. I don't.
Ah, okay. You have her above Lift?
But yeah, I have her above Lift.
I'm kind of shocked at that, honestly.
Well, Shallan for me, like.
What do you mean about the Shallan one?
Well, Lift, I mean, I'm with you for the most part on Lift. I think I don't dislike her as much as you do, but I do not care when, like,
See,
the only time I've really liked Lift is in conjunction with another character. I never really enjoyed anything about, well,
I don't mind Eshonai. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I'm thinking of Venli when I was making this first judgment. I would definitely have Eshonai like top A or that is not what I meant to say. Top C.
Whoa.
That was not what I meant to say. I'm thinking of Venli. I dislike obviously more than Eshonai. I actually liked Eshonai's chapters, especially early on in the series when you're like first getting those perspectives, and then she dies off page, which is a tragedy.
And then you get her in Venli's flashbacks in Rhythm of War, and it kind of brings the character down for me because I didn't like that arc at all, which we talked about recently. So, I mean, she'd be behind Shallan for me, but just because Shallan's like, I mean, again, Shallan does have some of the best moments in the series, so it's hard to put Eshonai above her for me.
Yeah, I get that.
But I wouldn't be mad if you did. Yeah, she's like below Lift for me, bro. I don't like Venli. Yeah. Her arc really hurt me.
I liked her in the beginning, and then it just... I didn't mind actually reading... her flashbacks were kind of tough. But like, whenever she's around, like, Leshwi and company, I enjoyed those chapters, but not because of Venli. Like, I enjoyed what was going on, but not because of Venli, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I just... I didn't care for her arc in the end either. Like, I'm not excited about Venli's story in book 5. Like, I really don't care.
Oh,
what
well, she
happens
could
to
never
Venli.
show up again, and yeah, it could.
Yeah, like I'll be fine.
It would be irrelevant. All right,
Leshwi though, I want to see. Oh, Pattern. Okay. I kind of like Pattern, man.
Me too.
I like him more than Maya.
He betrayed. Oh, for sure. Because he betrayed Shallan. I was like, which I just didn't know that they could do that. So like knowing
that was pretty
they
wild.
can do that, I feel like kind of changes the game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Low A or high B.
Yeah, I'm exactly where you are. I wouldn't mind either of those slots, honestly.
What are you leaning more towards?
I'm honestly leaning low A. That's
All
where
right.
I lean. But I think he'll get passed by a couple more in that tier. We'll
All
see,
right,
though.
I'm gonna honestly just make a broad statement. Just Bridge 4 in general, I think is overrated. Outside of book 1, like after, let me make sure I'm saying that correctly. There's like a certain moment. I think maybe just when they get to Urithiru. After that, it's just almost
that,
take
like,
it or
the
leave it. They're
overall-
not bad,
Yeah.
but it's just like okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say they're like at this point where we are after Rhythm of War.
Oh, well, definitely.
It's more
now,
about
yeah.
like just those few that you know, and I mean one of the biggest ones got killed off. That being Teft.
Yeah.
So I
There's
will
only
say
few
though, I mean,
that I can even like picture, which I guess there's not that many, and I guess it's the ones here.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, he's below. Before, other than like that, he was Wit's apprentice. Dude, I didn't know any. I couldn't tell you one thing Sigzil did in Stormlight Archive.
yeah,
Like
he
I
was
knew
just,
his
like, Bridge
name, like
4's,
because his name's very like original. Like I would remember his name,
Right.
but like I can't visualize like Lopen. Whether I like him or not, whatever. Like he's so Lopen that like I can read a
the
sentence and
Lopen,
know
dude.
that that's Lopen, dude. And that's just so stupid to me. But like Sigzil, I could read like a phrase from Sigzil, and I would have no idea. Like I wouldn't be like, "Oh, dude, that's Sigzil," if that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
mean,
Whereas a lot of the other
no,
guys,
it
I can at
does.
least maybe guess on who it is. I don't know. That's how I.
Yeah, I
guess since
mean-
we're talking about Sigzil. What like where would you put him? And that's what's kind of sucks that he's become so important with Sunlit Man, because it's like I don't know. I wish it would have been someone else.
I'd be fine with him being low C right there. I mean, I don't really Sigzil
After
like,
Venli or
super,
before Venli? I just don't even have any feelings about it. And that's the thing. Like, I don't
Yeah, I
not
really
like
don't
him. I
either.
just don't like. I don't know anything. Like, I have nothing to say about
Yeah.
him. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, I would say. but
Is
see,
there
that's-
good? You think or?
Yeah, but it almost makes me wonder. It's like it feels wrong to put him on the Lirin level, but at least these characters, like, I care to a degree about like what's going on with them. Sigzil really is like,
He could never show up again. It would not. It would affect my reading 0.
yeah, like which I appreciate the character in his position. Like he was Bridge 4's like, he took care of all their like accounting and supplies and stuff. So I know he had a purpose, but you just don't get much from him. You do see him fighting in Rhythm of War, and he almost gets killed by the pursuer.
Dude,
and
can
then
you
the pursuer lets him
imagine?
go.
Can you imagine if Rlain was like in Sigzil were like combined?
What do you
You
mean?
know what I mean? Like if we combined
I think
their characters,
Rlain and Renarin are getting combined in book 5. if you know
That's not what I
mean.
meant. If we combine Sigzil and Rlain, I mean that would be that because some of these characters is like, all right, like do we need another character for this like minor
We need
thing?
another guy in a blue uniform that's a windrunner. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that.
Like
You could probably
Rlain would have
put
actually
him-
been a really cool like, because his arc is at least unique.
Yeah, but he doesn't
him
have
being
much
the
of
apprentice
one
to Wit.
until Rhythm of War. Rlain, at least, like he doesn't have really an arc. He's just
Yeah.
the
He is
one.
different,
I mean, he's
though.
important because he's the Parshendi that's like stuck around, but he doesn't
Yeah.
say anything.
No, he says nothing. But he at least I can visualize. I don't know. It's just Sigzil, dude. I didn't even know he was black, bro. I had no idea what he looked like. He could have looked. He could. I just had. I couldn't. If you were just before this picture, I saw this picture. If you're like picture Sigzil, I wouldn't even know. Is he tall,
Yeah.
big? Like I don't. I have no idea. And
Yeah,
I guess I just missed that this is what he looks like. I mean, dude, I just would have never guessed.
I could picture him in his head. Like, I saw him as, like, a black guy. Like, he gets introduced as, like, dark-skinned or whatever. But outside of that, like, again, I knew that what his position was with Bridge 4. But to your point, there are several little characters. Like, I feel like, and we'll get to them, but of all of Bridge 4, like, the one that stands out to me the most was always Rock, just because he's so unique and, like, different. And then there's Teft, like, he's got the drug thing going on. So, I mean,
Teft didn't. I'm going to be honest with you, Sigzil and Teft were the same person for me for a while until the last book, and then Teft, like, obviously becomes way more unique with the drug problem, and then obviously what happens to him. And so then it's like, oh, okay, that's, I don't know, just because their voices, Sigzil and Teft, their voices felt very similar to me as far as, like, the encouraging guy to Kaladin. I don't know, like, I guess they kind of were in somewhat leadership positions, it seemed like, in Bridge 4. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So I'm starting to already have some, before we continue, I'm already starting to have some, like, thoughts about, like, we won't do, like, a full readjusting of the tiers, but I am starting to rethink both Shallan's position and the S tier. I won't make any changes to the S tier yet, but yeah, dude, I feel like Shallan's got to be B if we're putting Eshonai, Lift, and Venli there, and then Sigzil and Lirin at the bottom. Like, I just feel like Shallan's just better than them.
Yeah, she is better. She's just annoying.
Yeah, she's just gotten annoying, and I think that I'm hoping it's going to change a lot in this upcoming book. Like, now that we know, I feel like there's one more kind of shoe to drop with her, but we know a lot more about her in the story of her previous sprint, so I don't know. We'll see. We have to base it off what we already know, so I can't really do that. But Lopen, I mean, you really only get, like, more of him in Dawnshard, but
dude,
yeah, I mean, he's C for me.
Dawnshard made me like him less. I hate to say that. Yeah.
So where do you have him?
I actually liked him more. Like, before Dawnshard, I probably would have him, like, either very high C or, like, the lowest possible of low B. But, dude, it's just having a full main, like, story with him was too much, dude. His comic relief every now and then, I didn't mind. Yeah. Like, I liked that, like, and that was his role.
Yeah.
But building a story around him, dude, I liked his cousin more.
Yeah.
The guy who's his cousin more from that, but I don't even know that guy's name. And he's definitely, I feel like,
it's not relevant. Huos? Yeah, I can't remember. But I would have him right there. I like his humor more than Lift's, but I'd say he's behind Eshonai. So I think that's perfect placement for him.
I'm not going to lie, though, towards the end, like, for a majority,
if you want to swap them, I won't be hurt.
I might honestly like Lift more than Lopen. Because
honestly,
Lift is
I like
better,
that just because like you're yeah. If your opinion of her is increasing, I like to see it, so I'm cool with that.
She started off very low, so it's been a rise from the ashes, and we're still, I think, our toesies are in the ashes. I think still we're not off the ground.
Toesies,
dude. Elhokar, I mean,
dude, S tier above Taravangian.
Dude, in a weird way, like there is a slight argument. I feel like obviously he's not, but his ending moment, dude, is just an absolute tragedy. And you want to talk about a rise from the ashes, a character that's like, dude, I do not like this guy. He is. That was how I felt about him. And then it's wild, like how Brandon Sanderson makes you not like a character, and you know he did it on purpose, like making him so unlikable to where by the end, though, you're like, dude, anyone but like it's just Elhokar. He was so close. He was changing.
It hurt, man. Like it
because you saw his real character arc.
Died. Yeah, like it really hurt that his climax was also the very end of his arc. I mean,
and just how he dies, dude. Yeah, it's just him being just an absolute breath away from
literally
immortality,
holding his son in his arms, bro. Yeah, man. So I liked where you just had him. I'd have him either really high B or low A. Would you agree, or would you? See, I wouldn't think so, man. I really like Pattern, so I don't think so.
All right, we'll keep him there now. All right, Rlain.
Bro, I like Rlain. I don't think. I think I would put him right there. And that's all I have to say about Rlain.
I think Rlain
I hope there's more to his character. Yeah, I hope there's more.
He is one of those guys that just has potential. He's never on the page, when he doesn't do too much to where it's like, oh, you dislike him, but at the same time, yeah, there's just not enough of him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like he could end up being a super, like, he could bump up.
No, I agree. I mean, he's also like, he's like Renarin.
It sucks that
like
he's
has
tied
the
with
same.
Eshonai, though, isn't he? Is that where it leaves
Did he go off with them? I think he went off with them. You mean
Which is
Venli? I'm pretty
unfortunate.
sure. I can't
Venli,
totally
yeah.
remember.
I think
Because
he
just
did,
everything
and that's
about
a
that arc I've
tragedy.
kind of repressed, honestly.
All right,
Next up, Rock, dude. Honestly, Rock's solid to me, which is ironic.
Rock solid.
Like, I would put him, probably high B. Probably high B right there. No?
I think I don't know. It feels wrong. Like, I like Rock way more than I like Shallan, but after your last point, it does almost feel kind of messed up. But I'm fine with that.
Well, I would be fine with him being behind them on B.
Depending on where everybody else comes out at.
Yeah, just
He's
depending on where
technically
everybody's
still
at.
high
but-
B. I just
Right,
don't know
yeah,
if
sure.
Shallan is high B. She's like mid B. Maybe she is high B. I don't know, dude. It's so tough.
I'd put her above Rock, I think, but we'll shake it out when we get there.
Yeah, I feel like Maya's somehow throwing everything off for me.
Yeah, I mean, she could be anywhere on there for me at this point. I don't necessarily see her super high. Man, I like Renarin.
Me too. He's again someone who just does not have enough time. Like in the book yet. I mean, he's just that ticking time bomb of when is he going to be super important.
But that one moment with him that really brings him up is when he sees the future of
He's like,
Jasnah
"Just
killing
kill
him, and then he just nods at her, bro, to let her know, like, it's okay. You can kill me if you have to. And it's just like, wow.
Well,
So he's just got a very...
He just doesn't... He just lacks, like, confidence even now. I mean... Where should
I like
we
where
put
he's
him?
at right there.
Right there?
I liked that. I wouldn't be hurt if he was above Elhokar, but I'm cool with him not. It's whatever. Young Taln. Ladin.
Dude, I almost.
Oh, God, dude, don't.
I was so close, dude.
His name's
I was like,
Taln,
wait.
bro. I mean, he hadn't really had enough time, bro. He's kind of just regarded right now, so I would say he's like a C for me at this point. Like, all he's really done that's made any coherent sense is at the end of The Way of Kings, he said the final desolation is coming. And now all he does is mumble. He just mumble raps.
He's one of those legends, dude, of the past who was an S tier, but now is in this. He's an S tier in the prequel.
From grace, man.
In the prequels that have not come out yet, he is for sure S tier. But
he's the Mace Windu of the prequels, but it's still the 1980s, so you don't know who that is yet.
All right, Gavilar. What are we thinking?
Dude, after reading Stormlight 5, I do not like Gavilar, but his characters are really cool.
Yeah, he's a D-bag for sure, but I mean, it is elusive. It's just because he's important.
He's
but
very
he's
interesting.
important because, but he's never in the picture because he's dead before anything's ever happened. So it's all this like delayed important. It's like everything that he's done. It's because everything he's done, the whole story is the repercussion of something that he's been doing that we still are learning about. So his impact is massive, even though he's not even in the story technically, present time. It's kind of
I feel
wild
like he
to see
belongs
his
right behind
progression.
Shallan.
Yeah, I like that. It's weird to see his progression too, to like think that he was like a really good guy and like forward thinking to now being like, wait, what was he doing? Like, it's just, it's a weird arc, dude, that I was just not ready for.
Yeah, that Stormlight 5 prologue really
changed
the game.
Yeah. All right, that boy Teft, dude. Dude, I have to say something before we even do
Put
this.
him above Taravangian. Just do it.
Dude, I know you don't watch college football a lot, but essentially Alabama's quarterback is this guy. And he has this like brand called Lank, Lank. And it stands for let a naysayer know. And, dude, they were talking about it on ESPN, and I didn't know it stood for that, and they were like, yeah, it stands for let a naysayer know, and one of the commentators was like, dude, you scared me for a second, dude. Oh, dude, and all I saw on Instagram was just naysayers in Paris, and, like, just comments like that, dude, and I'm just like, oh, my God. I don't know why.
Dude, why did you just think that?
I don't know.
So
probably gonna have to cut all that out. But anyway, Teft.
That's funny. Dude, Teft is a dog, man. I really like the way his character's written. I like that he has like the substance abuse struggle, like it's very like real and all that stuff. And then he has like a great arc. I mean,
he's my favorite.
Teft above Shallan.
He to me is the most fleshed out Bridge 4 character. After, like, because Rock is, but I don't know. I don't want to say Rock's very shallow because he's going back off of his honor. It's just, I don't know. I would have liked to see Rock not go back. It just seemed very predictable that, I don't know. It's just like, oh, I don't know. Teft just has way more depth.
I get what you're saying. I feel like that is almost like, not that he wouldn't have done it otherwise, but I feel like that's partially a plot device because we need to go to the homeland of the what are they called? Dang, I just forgot.
The Horn Eaters,
which we're getting apparently, which I don't understand. I thought it was supposed to come out before Stormlight 5, but I haven't heard anything. We're supposed to get another novella called Horn Eater.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
all right,
anyway.
Sadeas.
I always say Sadeas, but everybody else says Sadeas.
I don't know. I haven't audibled any of these, so I am curious what it is. To me, he's an A character. Like, dude, his, like, especially, I mean, obviously he doesn't make it long in the series, but
right.
I mean, he was a great villain, dude, especially because he was always, like, he's one of those villains that is, like, thinking a couple steps ahead, so even if you don't like him, you, like, are respecting what he's doing, because it's not just, like, he's not an idiot who's just doing evil things just because he's an idiot. Like, he just, everything feels well thought out. So he's just a very respected enemy.
I'm
would
cool
you
with
say?
that.
Would you say he's A?
Yeah, I would either put him. I was either gonna say super high B, like above everybody else, or low A, up underneath everybody that's already there. So
I say we
where you had him
more
right there.
I say we minimize on A for now and then adjust accordingly.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man. Like as this stacks up, I have another thing. I mean, Venli might be Lirin level, bro. Venli might be Lirin level. Like, I don't know if I don't like. I just do not like Venli, man.
I'm not like gonna argue that at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. Vinny's not getting any help from me. So
Mraize.
He's a very cool character. I feel like part of the reason why he's so cool though is because we don't know anything about him.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we know just he's involved with the Ghost Bloods, but really don't. It seems like their goal. It seems like a front, but it says that their goal is figuring out how to like essentially transport investiture across like worlds through shapes.
I mean, I only learned that, dude, from Jake. I did not learn that on my own. I knew they had some overarching Cosmere goal. I mean, that makes sense. It's always about resources, bro. It stays about resources. Bro. But
I feel like Shallan's the hard line, like the thing to base everything off of in this tier list right now, and I feel like he's under Shallan for me, but not far. Like, yeah, I'd be fine with him being anywhere right in there after Gavilar. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right.
Nale.
Naletron.
Nale's been pretty one-dimensional so far.
What just happened, dude? I somehow swapped Nale for... Where was Moash?
He was number 1 in the A tier.
Okay. He was?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
That's where
we're gonna have to really. We're gonna have to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to evaluate, no doubt. But I would say, dude, Nale he's really cool and like a badass character, and he's obviously also like legendary, like Taln in the same way. But I just don't think we've got enough. He's been very one-dimensional.
Is he better than Taln?
Yeah, I'd have him above.
What about
I'd probably have him above Rlain. Honestly,
is he better than Maya and Rock?
Nah. Not for me. I mean, I can hear an
I don't
argument
mind
for it, you know?
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I didn't know who Nale was for a little too long. Like, frighteningly long.
I remember saying something to you about, dude, you know the crescent like mark on his face? And you're like, oh. Because he always, like, every time he introduces him, he never says, like, oh, Nale walked into the room. He says, a dark-skinned man with the crescent moon on his face.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
That's where,
got it, dude.
That's where I got every time. We're not dropping a name. Okay, that's fine. Just don't expect me to remember him.
Care. All right, dude, we got a couple S tiers coming up.
Yeah.
Dalinar is one of them for sure.
Dalinar, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll hear out anything. He could be the number one right now for me of the people out here.
I'm 100% comfortable with him being in that position right now. Dalinar is like
Daddy!
I mean, and I'm just so scared that we're going to see him become Taravangian's champion or his tool after
I honestly
the
am
championship
excited
thing.
to see. If that happens, I actually wouldn't. Obviously, it would.
Oh no!
In a weird way, I wouldn't be mad at all. Like I would actually be.
No, because you'd be so upset, like as a reader, that it would be so good and like keep you coming back and want more.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm fine with that. Jasnah S tier. I mean, she just is, bro.
Oh, what just happened? I didn't mean to do all that. Is she better than Kaladin?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, because like again, as we go through this, like Kaladin's up there with the top dogs for sure.
Jasnah is honestly arguably my favorite character, but she's
one of mine as well. But we haven't got a lot of her yet. Like even what we have gotten, it's always minimal in comparison to everybody around her.
Yeah, and like part of why she's so cool is because we don't ever have like her page time is so low. I mean, that's the same thing with Szeth. Like,
yeah.
You know. All right.
So yeah, I'm cool with that for now. Navani, I mean, I feel like she's got to be.
She's above Moash for me. I don't know where she is for you, but especially this last book.
I mean, dude,
I'm really like
that,
Navani after this last book. Like,
I was gonna say like mid-A, but I'm totally down. Yeah, I'm down.
Because we'll have to rearrange. I feel like some of these up here.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, Szeth. I mean, it's S tier.
This is honestly going to be. Really?
Dude, you don't think so?
I almost said something. Dude, so between Jasnah and Szeth, just for people's clarification, or between my two, like, all-time, like, it's either Jasnah or Szeth as my favorite character in the Stormlight Archive. In a weird way, almost, I think he's very high of A.
No way, dude. That is wild, bro. I cannot believe you said that.
I don't know why.
Wild.
Like, I'm trying to think of a reason why, but like initially when I just pulled his little guy up here, I was like just thinking right there. For some reason, I don't know why. That's just what I felt. And again, dude, that's coming from Szeth is arguably my favorite character. We just don't know anything about it.
Like, I mean, I agree, but like, dude, I mean, he's just so. That is the character that I get when I see it's a Szeth chapter. That's the most hype I'm getting.
Same, dude.
So it's just hard. I agree with your point. It's similar to Jasnah in that we don't get a lot, but I mean, dude, what we do get is so good, and it's kind of the same with Jasnah, him, and Wit.
Storyline, like his character is very. It's him between Szeth and Taravangian. I'm like, wow, those are like. I mean, they're just original characters. Like I have not read another character there's aspects of Szeth that are similar, but just the whole like world building and plot line that builds his character out is just so original to me and like just such a good idea. Yeah. So that's also why I like him. And then I mean just because he's sick too, but I don't know why, dude. I'm trying to like conjure up like rationale why, but other than just like page time and dude, and I think what it really is dude, him in Rhythm of War is so disappointing. Like, I was pissed because at the end of Oathbringer, it's like, oh, dude, his moments in Oath, like his moments on all the books up like through Oathbringer are so awesome. And then,
essentially,
dude, like, Rhythm
it's
of
actually
War, like other than at the very end, like it's just,
and that's actually a really
he's not
good point,
in it, dude.
Yeah, and he's not only is he not in it, but he's not used at all. Like, Brandon doesn't have anything to do with him at this point in the story.
Exactly. He's not
and so he only uses him as a means to get Nightblood to Taravangian. So I'd actually really agree with that. And honestly, man, in light of that, and because our S tier is kind of heavy, I won't be mad if you put him number 1A. Like, I won't be.
Okay.
If you're feeling that, I can get behind it.
I don't
So
see.
next up
I'm
we
not
have
putting
Wit.
anyone above him in A. Next is Wit, though. Wit
No,
slash
for sure
Wad.
not. Yeah, so Wit, dude, is honestly behind Lirin. No, dude, Wit's a literal god, man. He's right up there with Jasnah.
Wit is just also between that. Those are the three for me as far as like just such interesting characters that are so like their own character between Taravangian, Szeth, and Wit. Like they're just so original to me. Like their feel and their voice is so unique. I mean, certain of these characters too, they're also very unique too. But it's just something about those. Wit, dude, he's just so cool, dude. It's tough to like. I mean, I would low key put Wit here, honestly.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, and yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think we're gonna disagree about this last one.
Yeah, I know we are, and it's gonna pain me.
I don't think it's gonna be that big of a disagreement, but I was shocked about what Jake had to say about Syl.
What'd he say?
I don't remember. He was like, he like doesn't like her, dude. He thinks she's annoying.
I must have repressed that because that makes me want to punch him in the face. I love
Dude,
Syl.
you literally said. I think you might have said those exact words.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to absolutely like hurt him next time I see him, just for
it's
this
in the
fantasy
last video.
series disagreement.
It's in our Silent Man. I'm pretty sure. We'll see when it comes out.
Wow. Yeah, dude. I mean, she's like. I'm fine with her being behind Szeth.
I mean, she's an A character for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I'm not going to put her on S. I'm not going to go crazy and act like she's S tier because, like, she hasn't had. I mean, she's not even like she's a fairy.
Crazy.
You know? So,
I will say, normally
but I love her.
This kind of character I would not like at all. So, like, that's a testament to Brandon Sanderson. Like, I normally would hate this kind of, like, character.
No,
I don't. Obviously, I really like Syl. She's definitely. I don't think she's the most interesting of the Spren, but I like her the most. I think. I'm not like wanting to know more about her. I feel like you know what I mean. I guess I feel like there's not a lot of mysteries going on with her. Whereas like Pattern to me is the most interesting of them. Yeah. But
so now that we're here, and obviously we don't have all the characters. Like we don't have Odium before he became Taravangian, but you don't really get much of that actual character.
That's why he's here for me, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I agree. So let's evaluate the tiers as we have them. So starting with S tier, we got Dalinar, Wit, Taravangian, Adolin, Kaladin, and Jasnah. Now I'm starting to be swayed by your original opinion that maybe Adolin does not belong in the position he's in up there.
I don't know, honestly. Let me see.
It's just tough.
I mean,
like
if
maybe
he's
Kaladin,
not there, I mean, to me, he's still above Jasnah.
Yeah,
as far as like obviously what's gone on. I mean, dude, he has the best chapter I think in the whole book or in the whole series so far.
All right, I mean, shoot, dude, put him back, man. Put him back.
Is Taravangian too high? Or no?
I don't think so, because I mean, we've both loved him and talked about how much we loved him since we both met him. And I think that's the same for most people. Like, you just get so hyped for his chapters once you start realizing who he is. And then the culmination of his arc in Rhythm of War, dude, is the most shocking thing I've ever experienced. When you kept saying, dude, I can't wait for you to finish Rhythm of War, I was thinking,
it's just one of those things, dude, if you tell someone, like,
someone dies or this, that, and the other, bro, I would never have guessed Taravangian, the 190-year-old man, picks up Nightblood and becomes Odium. Like, becomes the vessel of the shard Odium. I would never have guessed that. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know you could do that. But I will say, man, Kaladin has also, like we said this about Shallan, but if you numbered up like top epic moments, I feel like Kaladin has the most out of any character. So it is hard to.
I wonder who has the most page time too. Like, what character do you think has the most page? It has to probably be Kaladin.
Yeah, it's got to be Kaladin. It's Kaladin, and then probably
that almost
Shallan.
puts him at a disadvantage. like when you know so much, like normally, I don't know. I just feel like there's like the mystery like adds to characters, so it's like that good medium that you want of a character. You don't want too much of them, but you don't want none of them. Whereas Kaladin, I mean, you get a lot about it. I mean, that it was almost too much Kaladin for me in the last book.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a correct statement. I don't know. It's just
it
his
was
arc
just a
there
lot.
Wasn't.
It was that middle point, man. Running around in the tower in secret got a little laborious towards the end.
The end of it was sick.
The payoff is it's so sick. You're not feeling bad about it when the payoff happens. You're not sitting there thinking, dang, I'm mad I wasted all this time. It's very worth it. So I'm fine with Kaladin and Adolin being like interchangeable in that position. So are we good with S tier then?
Yeah, I'm good with S tier.
So A, we got Szeth, Sylphrina, Navani, Moash, Leshwi Pattern, Renarin, and Elhokar.
I mean, Leshwi be lower?
I was literally thinking I feel like Pattern goes above Leshwi, and I probably am going to say the same about Renarin and Elhokar. So yeah, I'm thinking she's lowest B.
Lowest B or A?
I'm sorry, lowest A. Lowest A. Because, I really like Leshwi, but Leshwi's another one we really don't get much of at all, but her arc at the end of Rhythm of War as well is awesome. I mean, she basically switches sides once she realizes that...
Which I also didn't know you could do. Like, I thought they were kind of
we can get honor again? I'm done.
Like, I thought...
sides.
I thought Odium had them on lock.
Yeah.
So
he thought too, bro, and then he just went and died. Young race. See, I think I'm good with where we're at then on A as well. It's still kind of wild that you and I both agreed putting Szeth in that spot. Like when I first thought of us doing this, like my initial thought was like, okay, Szeth's S tier immediately. Yeah.
Well, he's the, I don't know. It's just, this is us, honestly, this is proof we're attempting to not be completely biased. Like, we're trying to have some rationale about what we're doing. Yeah. Szeth is, the coolest character in Stormlight Archive for me. So, I mean, if we're going off favorites / coolest, he's 1 or 2. But, anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So B, we got Sadeas, Teft, Shallan, Gavilar, Mraize, Rock, and Maya. I feel like...
How many people do we have? Is Shallan in the dead center, or is she slightly below? What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? No, so she's like almost in the middle.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, I wouldn't be opposed to her just being number 1 in the B slot, to be honest, in the B tier. I don't know how you feel about that, but...
I feel like it's right and fair. I mean, do I like being right and fair? Or I like being right, but do I like being fair? I mean, I just, dude, and dude, I'll probably get flack for saying this, but I don't care. It's just how I am. Like, I don't relate to, like, the anxiety / depression arc. So, like, I don't mind them when they're, like, brief and, like, whatever, because I think it helps me somewhat relate to people who go through that, since I don't go through that. But when it's, like, the whole story of that person, it's really tough for me to grab anything. And that's, like, all I feel with Shallan now. I guess it's less of the anxiety, depression type thing and more of the split personality deal. It's just, I can't grasp that, especially when, like, Adolin's just taking the shaft, bro, of, like, her basically flirting with Kaladin when she's someone else, but it's still her. It just feels like an excuse, is what it feels like to me, to just do whatever you want. Just because, I don't know. And obviously her backstory is tragic, but, I mean, Kaladin was literally a slave. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like we always forget about that. The man was a slave. So... Yeah,
watched his little brother get killed in battle.
Yeah. So, it's just...
Meanwhile,
there's lots of
Shallan's over
people
here killing her parents.
I'm supposed to feel bad for her. She's victim, dude. I guess that's what it is. I've always felt like Shallan plays the victim. And again, she's been through, like, hardcore stuff, but it does feel like Shallan plays the victim, dude. I could honestly see a villain arc for Shallan. And I wouldn't mind. I guess maybe, I feel like I would maybe like Shallan more if, like, she just if she just fully went into an embraced villain arc, I think I would like that, actually. She would actually then maybe become like A or S for me. It's just now it feels like she's lying to herself, and I'm also being lied to as a reader. Like, Brandon's trying to tell me she's this type of character, and I'm like, but is she? And it's like happened so many times now to where it's like, are you just wrong, Brandon, and now I'm just dealing with this, or do you have an ultimate plan?
Right.
Which, I mean, hopefully he does. That would be crazy. I haven't really thought about that, dude. Her just full villain arc.
Going off on a villain arc. That'd be crazy, man. She ends up becoming Odium's champion out of nowhere or something. Who knows?
That would be wild.
So C tier, Nale, Rlain, Taln, Eshonai, Lift, and Lopen. I mean, I'm less invested here. These are mostly characters that I just, like, they're cool. I actually like Taln the most out of this list. Like, I really like the idea of his character. Like, this guy that suffered for, like, thousands of years and just took it when everybody else gave up is pretty sick. And I guess that's maybe kind of a trope in some degree. Like, he's just that unbreakable character who's just going to have honor and fight no matter what. But now we're seeing, like, the, what's the word I'm looking for? Deteriorated version of him, where he's kind of lost his mind. So I'm fine where this is at. I'm starting to think like we're hating on Sigzil, but at the same time, I don't mind where he is down at the Lirin level. Lirin level, we got Venli, Sigzil, and the man himself, Lirin, at the very bottom. Which I like how number 1S is Dalinar. Very last on the list, lowest Lirin is Lirin. You got Kaladin's dad, and then the guy he wishes was his dad. It's pretty great.
Oh, God. I kind of feel bad for Rlain for some reason.
Dude, I don't feel bad for that carapace-wearing mother trucker. He's a double agent. He's been selling secrets to the Russians.
He's a bug, dude. He's not even human, dude. He doesn't have a soul.
Oh, jeez. That dude does not have Christ in his heart.
No, he can't. It's not allowed.
He can't.
Jesus didn't die for
Christ
his
can't
kind.
fit in that carapace. Nasty carapace. Well, you got your greedy gemstone in there, or whatever.
Is there another character that we're missing that is worse than Lirin? Surely there's not.
I don't think so, man. I think Lirin's the worst character in the entire series by a long shot.
Is there anyone in the Cosmere that you like less than
Lirin?
Lirin?
There should almost be a D level for Venli and Sigzil, and Lirin should still be by himself because they're not as bad as Lirin.
No, they're not. I agree.
Like, honestly, you should put Venli and Sigzil just after Lopen and just leave Lirin down there by himself for the final look.
For the final countdown.
Yeah, I mean,
this is almost even, though. I will say, I don't know if it's supposed to be a bell curve, and like more people are like here and less there. But
what's crazy is your S tiers are kind of obvious for the most part, and then your A tiers, like you could almost kind of what I said at the beginning, like a lot of this could be equated somewhat. You still have your Venlis down at the bottom who have had full arcs, but a lot of these don't have like the full POV character arcs as those S tiers. But again, I think it also kind of attests to Brandon's like amazing writing that kind of middle of the pack you have Shallan, who is one of the POV characters, and as we have said multiple times, she has some of the best moments in the entire series, which kind of helps bring her up the list. But that's a B. I mean, it just kind of goes to show how great Brandon is we have some characters that we've barely heard of that we consider like S tier, and then other characters that we may label as B tier still have some of the best moments in the series. I mean, that's just, it's prolific. All right, Brandon's a god. Just call it what it is. Because honestly, dude, there's a world in a certain mood where I could hop on here, and every time you pointed at a character, I could say S tier. There's a mood in the day, in a world where I could do that, just because Brandon's so good. You know what I mean? Other than Lirin, like it'd be everybody in S tier, and then Lirin and Lirin-Tier.
I'm gonna be
Like,
honest.
I'm exaggerating,
with you,
but you get what I'm saying.
oh, yeah, for sure. I will say, as I've gotten away from reading, because I mean, the last taste in my mouth from Brandon Sanderson is Sunlit Man, and I don't know, dude. It's just the more I get away from him, I realize there's a lot of other authors that maybe I don't think like as a whole are better than Brandon Sanderson, but like there's parts that like I enjoy a lot more than some of the other stuff. I will say I almost don't even want to say it though, because it's been a while. I mean, it's been since February or January since I read a Stormlight Archive book. So like the Stormlight Archive books themselves are different than his other stuff.
For
so
sure.
maybe that's what I gotta keep in mind. Like I gotta judge Sanderson
those are his
for
magnum opus
Stormlight
works.
for the 4s. Yeah, the 4 works that
Right.
are out with that, and I'm not even talking about even the novellas. Those don't count either for me. Solely the books.
Yeah.
Because I
But I
guess
will
those
say, though,
are like
man-
some of the best books I've ever. I mean, they're obviously some of the best books I've ever read because they're so high up for me. But it's sometimes I
Yeah.
wonder, like, am I overstating how good Sanderson is? Like, I think he still is probably the best, but it almost seems like, oh, he can do no wrong. You know what? Sometimes when it's like, but actually,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't enjoy some of the stuff he writes, and I enjoy, like, the Promise of Blood. Like, there were things about Promise of Blood I liked more. Like, it felt more adult to me. Like, more.
Yeah, I agree. I'm this much through it, and I already kind of agree with what you're saying. I would say Stormlight's like definitely where it's at and what puts Brandon at the top.
Yeah.
But there's also Mistborn Era 1, man. And so, again, as I've said already on this, I haven't read near as much fantasy as you have. So Stormlight and Mistborn on my list are pretty close together because I haven't read much. But Mistborn is obviously below Stormlight. But how far, like, if Stormlight's kind of at the very top, and you can confirm that, where does Mistborn match up? Like, is Mistborn still a top 5 series or top 10 or not even? Or does it fall a lot lower than other series that you've read?
I'm going to be honest with you. Mistborn's not even close to Stormlight for me. Like, I like Mistborn, but even the last book, I was thinking about this because we like tiered some of those fantasy books, dude, and I think we ended up putting some of the Mistborn over, I think, The Way of Kings. And as I'm thinking about it right now, I didn't enjoy any of those books more than I enjoyed The Way of Kings. And that's not saying I didn't enjoy those books, but like The Way of Kings, dude, is what got me into Stormlight, and I just don't think even the culmination of Mistborn Era 1 was better than even Way of Kings for me.
Yeah, that's the only one that was above it, was Hero of Ages, but I don't...
Like,
I
now
can
that I'm
back
thinking
what
about
you're
it,
saying.
you know what I mean? Like, but that's just
Yeah.
a personal thing for me, and I think also some of it has to do with I didn't read all of it. Like, I audibled it, and like a lot of the last book. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's just not. There's a tone. There's a tone thing, and I am more of a grimdark tone, like a more this is not for children tone. And not that, like, I think Brandon Sanderson has that and doesn't have that tone, because obviously it is adult themes and, like, you know, really cool arcs. I don't know. It's just sometimes, like, I need a darker world. There's not a ton of, like, morally gray characters in his worlds, honestly. Like, people are either one way or they're the other. Like, there's not, like, I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of those guesswork, whereas I prefer, like, where most of the cast is like that. Where, like, there's maybe one good character that you can rely on, but everybody else, like, it's a toss-up. Like, that's definitely the tone I prefer. Even though I think I can recognize that those books aren't as good as, like, Mistborn. But if we're talking about what's better for me, like, I like those more. That's why, and I feel like it is some recency bias, but that's why, like, Greenbone Saga to me is better. And, like, John Gwynn's Faithful and the Fallen is better. I don't know. There's just a couple series for me that I think are better. But again, that's not saying Mistborn. I mean, Mistborn still, it probably is in my top 10. Like, for sure, series, because I'm trying to think, dude. I don't even know if I've read 10, like, fully read 10 series. So it's definitely top 10.
Yeah.
It's probably like 7 or 6. I'd have to think about it. But I don't know. I didn't love the Mistborn. I liked the, I don't know, dude. That's what's wild is, like, when I'm trying to think about what it is about it that, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't either, man. I don't either.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think
I've just not read near as much. I just don't have a lot to compare it to. Like,
it's definitely better than like Shadow of Gods and all that, for sure. I'm trying to think of like things. But like
Promise of Blood, like comparing how I feel halfway through the first book of the Powder Mage trilogy and comparing how I felt halfway through the first book of Mistborn, I might be enjoying Promise of Blood better. So I can definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked it more, I think. But again, it's just more relatable to me as like a person. Like, you know, I think sadly the market is more tailored to like women, because I think sadly women probably read more than men. It feels like when I go into Barnes & Noble, I don't see guys, I see girls. So shout out to girls for reading more than guys, and guys who got to step it up. So I mean, I don't relate to. I just don't. Not that I don't like reading like young girl protagonists, and I think they can still be done well. But like I just don't. I'm a guy, so like it's really hard for me to relate to that. But again, that doesn't mean I don't. Like, I still loved Vin. Like I still thought Vin was a great character.
Well,
but
and
Vin
you obviously
would
like,
never
we both
be Kelsier for me.
Right, and we both really liked Blood Over
Jasnah.
Brighthaven, which was fully from a female's perspective and dealing with female issues. So it can definitely be done and still be enjoyable. But I get what you're saying. Like, everybody's gonna have.
See, that book though is different to me
things.
because almost that I'm getting like. I don't want to understand the perspective of a 16-year-old girl, because to me it's irrelevant. Like, I enjoy though learning about, like, just to anyone who doesn't know about Blood Over Brighthaven, it's more of like a professional woman in a work environment and like how she feels like she's seen and her experiences. That to me is more relatable, and I liked that book more, I think. Or like there were parts about that I really liked because it felt like it related to real life. Like I felt like I maybe learned something, and now I can see a perspective that I would never be able to experience because I'm a guy, and be able to look on like a situation and maybe think slightly differently. Whereas like Vin's not going to help me see like, I don't know, because I just don't care.
I mean, she grew up in a world she also grew up in a world covered in ash with like no sunlight, and she was like in the slums. So, I mean, it's just not.
Which is cool to read about. It's cool to read about, though, even though it's not. Because not everything has to be relatable and, like, I have to learn. Like, I mean, most of the things I don't want it to be that way, or else it would suck. It's just hard to, like, almost characterize sometimes when, I don't know, like, Blood Over Brighthaven is just a darker world, even though, like you just said, their world is like covered in darkness and ash. So like it is technically probably actually literally darker than Blood Over Brighthaven, but it doesn't have the same tone. But I think it's because it appeals to a broader audience. I think it's smarter for Sanderson to write it that way, because then more people will enjoy it. Because I know for a fact, like, dude, The Way of Shadows, dude, neither of my parents would read this book. As soon as they got to that part, like 50, 60 pages in, I think most people would stop reading this book, like with what happens in this book. But to me, even I told you, I'm like, dude, I can't believe a grown man wrote about that. But I'm in. It
so
almost makes me more
in,
because it's like, Jesus, that is dark. Like,
right.
Whereas a lot of people, though, that would turn them off because they're thinking, like, how could someone write that? How they should be ashamed of themselves, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm borderline like, but I'm not going to flame up Brent Weeks just because he's trying to paint a real world, because that's the thing, dude. Some of these things, they're atrocities, but it's real. Like, I know, who knows what it's like on the streets of, like, the Gaza Strip right now, and that's like, that may not be a reality I've ever seen, but I know it's a reality for someone somewhere. So, like, we can't be afraid to write those perspectives, and that's what I like. But I get that's not for everyone. I know, like, most people, you know, they don't want to read about entrails, like, coming out of someone's stomach and then them having to pick through it to find something. Like, no one like, some people, they don't want to read that. But to me, it's weird. I don't enjoy reading that.
I gotta get a snack after this.
But it's just, it paints a real picture. I like that reality of, like, all right, it may be dark and I may get, like, kind of like the heebie-jeebies about it, but it doesn't feel fake. I don't know. It feels very real. I like that realistic vibe. But I'm not even sure how we got to that. I know what you mean,
and I can appreciate that. No, I mean, it's good discussion. But yeah, well, that's our tier list for all these Stormlight characters. Obviously, we left a few out. Let us know what you think about our list. I think this could be an easily controversial conversation for Stormlight fans, because there's going to be a lot who appreciate things that we don't as much, or who see it differently. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who would have Venli or even Lift, Eshonai, Teft, Shallan, obviously way higher than we have them. And there's probably people who wouldn't have, some maybe Adolin or Wit or Jasnah or Taravangian. I don't see how you don't have Dalinar in S tier.
I feel like S tier should be a lock for anyone. I think A could be disputed. Like, I would say almost like Moash down. I could see some people like maybe having those in B, and then having the people that we have in B in A. But I could just see some people having like Rock in A for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, and I
could I could see people having the argument that we've kind of had. It's different for each character for us, but I could see some people saying like, well, Jasnah doesn't really like have that much page time. Neither does Taravangian. Wit doesn't, or saying something like you did, like, because you made a good point with Adolin. Like, he's kind of a stock character. Like, he doesn't do a whole lot of unpredictable things necessarily. So I could see a lot of different opinions. So definitely comment below if you've read all of Stormlight, what you think about this list. Like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening on podcasts, do the things that you do there. And we'll see you next time. It's Lit Book Reviews. Outskis.